persecution here.
Yes,
and this
sir.
end time stuff, it persecuted the woman that brought forth the man child. Go ahead and read on.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle,
Uh-huh.
that she might fly into the wilderness,
Go ahead.
into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time from the face of the serpent.
That's the place that God got prepared for his people so they don't have to deal with this persecution. And that is what you're looking forward to. Otherwise, you may have to deal with it. Go ahead and read on.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth
Uh-huh.
water as a flood after the woman,
Go ahead.
that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
So now the serpent got after the woman. Go ahead and read.
And the earth helped the woman,
Uh-huh.
and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
Go ahead.
And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
Now he was war with the woman because the woman got away. But then he went back to make war with the remnant of her seed. Go ahead and read.
Which keep the commandments of God,
Uh-huh.
and have the testimony of Jesus Christ.
Now, whatever reason, Lord didn't choose to deliver them. That's why you, Lord said, pray that you be found worthy to escape these things. Let's go now to Daniel chapter 7. And we'll begin reading at verse 7. And we're going to pick up this beast again. Daniel chapter 7. And we'll begin at verse 7. 7 and 7. We got just a little bit more and then you out of here. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 7. 7 and 7. 7 and 7. I just want you to clearly understand what it is that you're going to have to deal with when you become a servant of God. But don't let this discourage you from being a servant of God.
Yes,
because
sir.
that other thing you're going to have to deal with if you don't become a servant of God. You really don't want to deal with that. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7 and start reading at verse 7. 7 and 7. Go ahead and read.
After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible,
Go
and
ahead.
strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
Go ahead.
And it had 10 horns.
Now, this is the beast that we've been reading about. This is none other than Rome here. And it's going to be around at the coming of the Lord. Go ahead and read on.
I considered the horns,
Uh-huh.
and behold, there came up among them another little horn,
Go ahead.
before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
Now, this represents the religious government. It was represented by a woman in the 17th chapter of Revelation. But here it is represented by a little horn. Go ahead and read on.
And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man,
Uh-huh.
and a mouth speaking great things.
I want you to skip down to verse 13 here. Just let you know this is going to be around at the coming of the Lord. Verse 13. Go ahead and read.
I saw in the night visions,
Uh-huh.
and behold,
Go ahead.
one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven,
Uh-huh.
and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him.
Now, who is the Son of Man? That is Jesus, right? And this let you know that this stuff going to lead all the way down to his coming. Go ahead, read on.
And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom,
Uh-huh.
that all people, nations, and languages should serve him.
Go ahead.
His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away,
Uh-huh.
and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
So when he set up this kingdom, it's going to stand forever. Go on into verse 15. Now, the first thing he's going to do is give you the interpretation of the 4 beasts. Because he said, I saw 4 beasts, and we just dealing really with the 4th one. But first he is going to give you the interpretation of the 4 beasts. Then he's going to give you the interpretation of the 4th beast, which is the last one, which is Rome. Go ahead and read.
I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body,
Go ahead.
and the visions of my head troubled me.
Read.
I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this.
Uh-huh.
So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the thing.
And Daniel said I was troubled in my spirit, and I wanted to understand what it is that this all meant. So now, then one came and he told me and gave me the interpretation of these things. Go ahead and read.
These great beasts, which are 4,
Uh-huh.
are 4 kings which shall arise out of the earth.
Now the beasts, they represented 4 kings or 4 kingdoms that would arise out of the earth. Go ahead and read.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom,
Uh-huh.
and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Go ahead.
Then I would know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others,
Go ahead.
exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet.
Go ahead.
And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than this fellow. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them.
This end time stuff you're reading about here. Look what it said. That same horn, he made war with the saints. We know how he made war with the saints. We read that in the Holy Inquisition, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
But now he's telling you in the last day, this last day stuff, he made war with the saints, and he prevailed against them. Until what time? Go ahead and read.
Until the Ancient of Days
And who is the
came.
Ancient of Days? That is Jesus. In other words, until his coming. Go ahead and read.
And judgment was given to the saints of the Most High.
Go ahead.
And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
Go ahead and read.
Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces.
Go ahead and read.
And the 10 horns out of his kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them.
All this means something. We're not dealing with all that today. Go ahead and read.
And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
Go ahead.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
Now, he's dealing with this religious side of the Roman Empire here, and he's going to speak great words against the Most High. Go ahead and read on.
And shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
And he will even wear out the saints of the Most High. Go ahead.
And think to change times and laws.
Go ahead.
And they shall be given into his hand until a time, and times, and the dividing of time.
Now, all this end time, right? And he persecuted the saints and made war against them even. Let's go to Revelation chapter 13, and we'll pick it up at verse 1. We're going to pick him up here again. Revelation 13 and 1. We got one more after this, and then you out of here. Revelation 13, and we'll pick it up at verse 1. 13 and 1. Okay. Go ahead and read.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea.
That's the same one we've been reading about. The beast rose up out of the sea, had the 7 heads and the 10 horns, and notice where he got his power, seat, and great authority from. Go ahead and read.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns,
Go ahead.
and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard,
Go ahead.
and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
Go ahead.
And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
And who is the dragon? That is the devil. And he is the one that gave him his power, seat, and great authority. Go ahead and read on.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed.
Now, this had to do with the supposedly fall of the Roman Empire in 476 A.D. But that wound got to be healed because Rome got to be in power at the coming of the Lord.
Yes, sir.
You know, Daniel told you that in the 2nd chapter of Daniel, and we read a little bit of it in the 7th chapter of Daniel. So now that deadly wound must be healed, and we're still waiting on it to be healed, even though it's almost healed now. Go ahead and read on.
And all the world wondered after the beast.
And then the whole world wondered after this beast. Go ahead and read on.
And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast.
Go ahead.
And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
Go ahead and read.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
Again, this is the length of the great tribulation here. Go ahead and read on.
And he opened his mouth. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. This is the persecution of the saints that will be going on in the last day. So, you know, this persecution, it started all the way, really it started with the prophets.
Yes, sir.
Now it's carried all the way down even until the coming of the Lord. That was given unto him to make war with the saints. Go ahead and read.
And to overcome them.
And to overcome them. Go ahead and read.
And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
Now, just wanted you to understand that this